and welcome back to the Homestead Challenge. I'm Brittany and this is my husband Josh, and it's date night. So if you haven't already watched my video on my 2021 homesteading goals, well, you should. Go check in the description box below, go watch that video and then come back to us. But one of my health goals this year, which is a little bit ironic that this is a health goal, is to find healthier alcohol. And the healthiest option would obviously be just to not drink alcohol, but that's probably not ever going to be a goal in our household. So we wanted to find ways that we could make it just a little bit healthier. Honestly, this has been a hard task already, but I have the whole year to figure this thing out, but we're just getting started. So first I was looking into beer and liquor, and it's really complicated. The health labels on alcohol are just, there's not a lot of laws for them like there are for our food. So it's really hard to find a company that actually discloses everything that's going into what you're drinking. So something that I never even thought about with liquor is that most liquors come from either a vegetable or a grain, like vodka from potatoes, right? Yeah. Yeah. And then of course like tequila is agave and whatnot, and it just keeps going on, and whiskey is grains. So I never really thought about it before, but you want to look for organic liquor because otherwise you're essentially drinking pesticides, which is the same if you're eating non-organic food as well. So it's kind of up to you and your comfort level with that. But sometimes in alcohol, it's not even necessarily the alcohol content that might give you a headache unless you're over drinking. But like say drinking one glass of wine might give you a headache. It's possibly from the pesticides. So definitely something to think about. And I'm actually gonna go deeper into liquor and beer in my blog post this week. So that will also be linked in the description box below. So check that out for more information. But today we're gonna focus on wine. The baby is sleeping, so that was dangerous. So in the homesteading community, everyone talks about dry farm wines. And we live in Alabama currently because my husband is in the military. And we can't get alcohol delivered to our house, which is really sad. And I know that there's other ways that we can look into getting dry farm wines. So that's kind of like the gold standard of wines. That's gonna be your best option. They have like the craziest process of going through what they allow their wines to be. So those are all very small batch wines from small vineyards, mostly in Europe. So they actually haven't even found a wine that they see fit yet in the United States. And the reason for that isn't just because, you know, the wine's better in Europe or something like that. It's actually because of the growing conditions. In these places in Europe that they get their wines from, they have really small batches. So they were able to take care of all of those grapes without the use of any pesticides. And they also, on top of the pesticide use, don't add a ton of sugar to it, which is what happens in our typical conventional wines that we get from the store all the time. They add a ton of sugar, one, to preserve it, and two, to make more people like it. But that sugar raises the alcohol content, so that's really the only way you're gonna know if they have a ton of added sugar is if that wine does have a higher alcohol content. And I don't know about you, but old Brittany would have loved a higher alcohol content wine or whatever. But I've found as I get older, that kind of thing gives me a headache, even if I just have one. And that's not even just because the alcohol is higher, but because the sugar levels are higher. So obviously, decreasing our sugar levels is something that we are going to try. So I sent Josh on a mission to Publix to try to find some healthy wines. So this has definitely been harder than expected, don't you think?
It has. So here in Alabama, the selection, like Brittany said before, isn't great. So it's we have maybe 3 or 4 total organic wines at the local grocery store, and the international section is labeled Australian.
I didn't know that.
But it includes a couple of French bottles, a couple of Italian bottles, some Australian bottles.
Sure it's not Austrian?
No, it's Australian. But no, so we have 3 wines that I ended up picking out here today, and they're all around the $15 to $20 range. One organic, one Italian, and one French.
Yes, so your best bet, first of all, is if you are in an area that has a larger city and might have stores like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, those are probably going to have a larger selection of organic wines. So always, I would say your first thing to look for if you're looking for the lower sugar content, lower pesticide content, is going to be organic. So if you can find those, great. That's awesome. We would love to be able to find those, but it's just not happening for us here and not happening for us on the military base either. The Class 6 is the military liquor store, and they have 0 organic wines. So we've had a little bit of a hard time. Our nearest bougie grocery store is about 2 hours away. So this video is really to help you all that may not get to those types of grocery stores at all, or maybe don't have those grocery stores like us. Try to find at least a little bit better selection, and we can at least feel better about what we're drinking then, even if it's not healthy at all. So our first wine today is an organic wine.
It is. So it's called Our Daily Cab, and it's Cabernet Sauvignon, and it is supposedly 100% organic, labeled USDA organic on the bottle itself.
And it says gluten-free, which is really silly because I don't really know any wines with grains in them. So always be careful when you're really reading the labels, because a lot of the time it'll say silly things like that, but there wouldn't be gluten in it anyway. So this one is only 12.5%, which is actually really good. A lot of the cheaper wines that you'll find at the store are 14 and above. So that is showing us that they added a ton of extra sugar. The sugar into wine is what raises that alcohol content. So we've actually had this wine before. So this is our second bottle of this, not today. All right, so apparently Dakota wants some wine too. But this is our second bottle of this wine. I really like it. And what I actually did notice is that this didn't give me a headache the first time I had it. And I had probably 2 glasses, no headache. Whereas we often get the Boda boxes, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with if you're familiar with grocery store wine. But I drank 1 glass of that the other day and I had a horrible headache. So that just goes to show that it's very possible that drinking those isn't necessarily the best for us, and it's probably not the alcohol. It might be the alcohol, but I don't think so.
Not in the quantities that we're drinking. It's not like we're downing a bottle of wine between the two of us. It's 1 or 2 glasses. You notice definitely with the cheaper wines that it affects you more, and you just kind of, not necessarily hungover the next day, but you just kind of feel a little, yeah.
That could also be because we're 30 now.
That's also true.
Now, old us might have been able to handle all of that. We met in college, so at the time we were probably drinking, well, a lot of boxed wine, and not the good kind.
Yes, the cheapest wine possible, the cheapest beer possible.
Oh yeah.
All super healthy for our bodies.
So while we're enjoying this first glass, Josh, I am going to be asking you some questions.
Oh man, here we go.
So I decided to do the husband tag. So I looked up a bunch of different questions online, and I'm going to ask Josh some things. You ready for this?
I don't know, maybe.
So, when and where did we first meet?
We first met at the Buckeyethon Executive Board retreat.
So we were both part of the same service organization at Ohio State that raised money for Nationwide Children's Hospital, and that's how we met. So I knew he had to be a pretty good guy if he was in a service organization. I wish I could remember it, but I do not. Do you remember? I don't remember when we met. Do you?
Well, I remember interacting with you a little bit, and then you were in a really bad mood the whole time because you and your...
Oh, at the retreat.
Yeah. You and your boyfriend were going through some such, I don't know.
All right, so at least Josh remembers. What was your first impression of me when we met?
I don't know. I thought I enjoyed hanging out with you. So you ended up, I think, leaving early from the retreat. So we didn't really get to hang out a whole lot there. I would say that the first time that we actually hung out was there was an event on the Oval where all the student organizations were...
I remember now.
That's good. Where all the student organizations were, setting up tables, and they would hand out who knows what, everything. The type of stuff that usually accumulates in the corner and you end up throwing it away, 5 months later.
But it's free.
But it's free. In college, that's what matters. But that was the first time that we hung out. You and I were manning the table together. And I think my first impression of you after actually hanging out with you was that, I enjoyed hanging out with you. You were fun to talk to and fun to work with. So that was what stood out to me most.
I couldn't tell you my first impression of you because I don't remember.
No, I know you don't.
What's my eye color?
Hazel.
Good job. If I were to collect anything, what would it be?
I would say gems.
Like crystals.
Crystals, yeah, crystals.
Not
gems.
like fine. I wish they were fine gems.
Yes, rubies and sapphires. But you haven't added to it in recent history.
Well, I think that we should probably change that.
Yeah.
Let's see. If it were you, I would say you can't really collect computer parts. Can you collect computer parts? I mean, just in general, it would be something techy. Like, I would just say tech gadgets in general.
Yeah, that's fair. So my dad and I actually have a old camera collection.
I didn't know you were part of that.
Yeah. So he's probably added to it more in recent history than I have, obviously. But
then I stand by my tech answer.
Yeah, that counts. Count it.
Yeah, this is good. By the way, these are all red wines because we like red wines. So all of these were around the $15 range. We're not getting anything super crazy over here. That's generally the range that we like to stick to. I think the $15 bottle range is really just fine.
Yep.
All right, I think we need to drink up and get on to the next wine here soon. I am still very new when it comes to the world of wines. Did you read what this has in it?
What are some of the tasting
I
notes?
I wanted to notice if you could tell.
The smooth and rich flavor of the Cabernet Sauvignon with notes of plum, dark fruit.
And a hint of vanilla.
I can't really tell you what a dark fruit is, but
What is a dark fruit? like a cherry?
I like to think of blackberries being dark. Blueberries, I would also consider those to be a dark fruit.
Yeah, I got nothing. I just know that I like it.
Yeah.
I really like this wine, actually.
It's pretty good. It's not bad. Especially for our first gander into organic wines.
Yeah, so this one, like we said, it is from California. We were not able to find any organic wines whatsoever from Europe, but it is what it is. And, we're just going to slowly work our way into learning about all this stuff. All right, so another one of my goals for the new year that I actually brought up over on the podcast. So if you're not following along, check out Dwelling On Podcast, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. I talk about wanting to have more fun with my husband. So this is a date night that we orchestrated together. Are you having fun?
So much fun.
So much fun?
All the fun.
Okay. Well then, good. Goal complete.
Yep.
No more fun the rest of the year.
Check that box.
No more fun the rest of the year. We're done.
Nope.
So next we are going to try the Italian wine. So this one I think is a little bit higher percentage though, correct?
It is 13%. So
13%.
0.5% higher, so not too bad.
But it is still under that 14%. So that's really what we're going for here, is under the 14% level. It's from Tuscany, correct?
It is.
Yeah, so Tuscany is one, just by region, automatically, in theory, needs less pesticides just because it's the ideal location to grow these types of grapes. So even though it is not organic, in theory, it should have less pesticides. But like I said, it's really hard to tell about any of this because the labeling on all this is terrible. You can't figure out what's in any of this. Ooh, I can already tell that I don't like this as much.
Not bad though.
It tastes better than it smells.
Yeah, this is pretty good. It's along the lines of somewhere between a Cab and a Merlot as far as dryness and sweetness goes.
So the type of wine is a Toscana. It's the Santa Cristina Toscana. So did you just grab this, or did you actually look it up while you were in the store?
A little bit of both. I was taking the baby on an adventure to find healthy wines, and he was starting to lose his patience with me as I was trying to do research in the wine aisle. So.
All right, so this contains sulfites, so that's something to look for. Is if it is sulfite free, it's a little bit better option, mainly because that's also something that can give you a headache. So I don't know if that really affects health all that much, but if it's giving you a headache, then it can't be that great.
Yeah, and one of the things with Our Daily Cab, the last wine we did, was that it specifically said that there was no sulfites.
Yes.
So
not a bad option. All right, I'm gonna do another question. You ready for this?
let's do it.
What is something that I am not good at?
When one thing is going on and you have that one thing to deal with, you're very good at taking care of that one thing. But when there's multiple things going on at the same time, even if it's like distractions, like noises in the room, or the TV's on, and maybe
the dog.
The dog is scratching and the baby's crying. Yeah, I would say multitasking.
I don't know if that's the right term for that, because that just gives me anxiety when there's so much noise.
I don't know what you would call that then.
I get overwhelmed when no one is quiet.
Yeah. Which, with a German Shepherd who acts like she's still 1 year old and a 1 year old baby, I can see that happening. Alright, what am I not good at?
Time management. He likes to sometimes start things not at the right time, and he'll always underestimate the amount of time that it takes to do something. Or like right when we're about to leave somewhere, like going to the bathroom.
Hey, when you have to go, you have to go.
You've gotten a little bit better about that.
You can't stop Mother Nature.
Do we have a song?
Yes.
We do?
I would say the song that we did our first dance to. This song has come on at random points when we've been together, and you've gotten emotional about it.
I don't know. I was just going to say I don't feel emotional about the song. I think it's more funny.
Yeah, maybe at the time. But it still brings back memories.
So it's Faith Hill and Tim McGraw, It's Your Love?
I'm assuming that's the name of the song. Yeah.
It's Your Love. So Josh is a little bit mushier than me. That was a good answer for you. Guess what my answer would be?
What?
I was going to say Shipping Up to Boston. That was our wedding entrance song.
Yep.
And I think I get equal feels about that song. What is my weirdest habit?
I don't know that you have, like, in particular, any weird habits. I mean, I guess one would be bodily functions.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're not shy about...
I'm a lady.
about expressing yourself. I think you were shy about that for, like, maybe the first, like, week or so that we were dating.
Alright, we are going to move on from Italy. We are going to take a trip to France. I'm going to try this, but then Josh has to actually pronounce it. This is a weird habit. It's not a habit, but Josh speaks fluent French and he won't speak it for anyone at all. So maybe we can get him to say this for us. But I'm going to say that it is Beaujolais Village.
Perfect.
Was that perfect?
Near exquisite pronunciation.
Alright, so this is obviously from
France.
So anyways, Josh grew up with sisters who are native French speakers, as well as went to a French immersion school in Columbus.
Yeah. So I have three older sisters, and they all grew up in Geneva, Switzerland, which speaks predominantly French. And my parents, in order for me to be able to communicate with my sisters in French, wanted me to go to a French immersion school. And so from kindergarten through 8th grade, I learned everything in French.
All right. Did you read the back?
No, I did not.
All right, so this one was picked because of the region. Should hopefully have less pesticides. It says that it's good with hors d'oeuvres, mild cheeses, or poultry dishes. Contains sulfites though. But also picked because it's only 13%. It's not above that 14% range, so that's good. It just says strawberry, black cherry, and spice. It is a little spicy.
You can get more of the, I think, the cherry.
I'm getting all the strawberry.
Yeah, definitely more of the cherry for me, but it's good. I mean,
I like all of these. Shall we drink them all? Isn't it an amazing world that we live in these days, that in southern Alabama we can get a French wine?
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, ready for the next question?
Let's do it.
What's your favorite vacation that we have been on and why? Remember when we used to take vacations? It was a long time ago.
No, let's see. I would say it was, it was Key West.
That's my favorite too. I have absolutely no idea when we went to Key West. I've been there 5 times, I think. But that was your only time.
Yeah, that was my first time there. And
one of my favorite places on earth.
yeah, it was a fun place to hang out. Everything's in walking distance.
You kind of don't feel like you're in the United States a little bit?
Yeah, it's like...
it's touristy, but...
It's like an island in the Caribbean, kind of vibe.
Yeah, very relaxed, fun bars, fun drag shows.
Yeah, it was a good time. So that would probably be mine.
That's one of the few places I would like to go back to over and over again. What do we argue about the most? We don't argue a lot. We are both non-confrontational, but I feel like we're both with each other good at communicating our emotions for the most part, or at least good at sensing the other's emotions.
Yeah.
Are we better at that?
Yeah.
We can each tell when there's something wrong with the other one, and we make the other one talk about it.
Yeah, and Brittany will tell you that I keep my emotions bottled up, and she tells me everything that she feels all the time. So it's an interesting dynamic as far as that goes.
But I make you tell me your emotions.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember the last time that we argument
about you not telling me what was wrong with you.
That's probably, honestly, that's probably what we argue about the most, is me not opening up about my emotions and how I feel about things.
But he always eventually tells me.
Yeah.
In the same day, because one of our kind of rules is that we don't go to bed angry. That day it has to be solved, or we're not going to bed. And well, it's already approaching bedtime. What is it? It's 8:30, so we're already staying up a little bit late. So if you're angry about anything, you got to get it out now.
Yeah.
We're really very blessed to be on the same page with a lot of things.
Yeah.
And because we've been together for 10 years, I feel like even if we aren't expressing our emotions, we kind of know what the other one is feeling about certain things.
Yeah, I think both of us try to kind of stay ahead of the curve as far as we know when the other one is going to be out of sorts or upset about something. So I think we both try to preemptively fix the issue or discuss the issue or whatever. It's pretty rare that it ever gets to the point where we're arguing.
Cheers to that.
Oh, sorry. Quiet cheers.
The last question, are you ready for it?
All right.
If we could have the ultimate date, what would it be? So I'm gonna limit it to like a reasonable date, not like an extravagant vacation or something, like something that we could do here. What would be your ultimate date?
So the main event would be an Irish concert of some sort, and then we would have dinner beforehand.
Very smart.
Because you would get hangry if we didn't.
No.
Either, it'd be kind of stereotypical if we went to like a pub, but that kind of thing.
I miss Irish pubs.
Yeah, I would say something along those lines. Dinner beforehand at like a pub type atmosphere, restaurant.
And I would slowly drink beer the whole night.
Yes.
Beer makes me less sick.
Yes.
Not that I have to drink alcohol to enjoy my time with my husband, but it helps.
Well, I mean, in a concert and things
Yeah.
like that.
All right, so out of these three, what was your favorite?
So I'm kind of split between the Beaujolais and the Toscana. I think both would pair well with a meal. And then, again, the Daily Cab. Art.
All right, so yours is a split between the two European wines because you're fancy.
Yeah, no, but again, so these two I think work really well with a meal, and then the Daily Cab is a good or if you're just having a
glass of wine.
a glass of wine.
However, I thought that like organic wines would probably taste bad, honestly. I mean, we've eaten mostly organic food for a while now, and moving into some of the healthier stuff, it does take some getting used to, like grass-fed beef. Depending on the kind. The most recent kind that we've gotten, we think is really, really good.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was like, oh, this might not be the good. The Daily Cab is my favorite, but I think that that's because it actually tastes the most like like a cheap wine. So if you are transitioning from, say, a Barefoot or a Boda Box, this might actually be a really good option.
Yeah.
All right, so I had to bring this in here. This is what we're trying to stray away from this year, but it's so cheap. That's ridiculous. Wild blueberry and crushed rose petals with a touch of mint on the nose. Pair with chimichurri sauce? That's very specific.
I would pair it with you. No, you have to think. So chimichurri sauce will absolutely like overwhelm your palate. So you will not be able to taste anything else.
13.5%. Alright, so it's not 14. But this is higher. So that means there's more sugar.
Yeah. I mean, in general, it might just literally have more sugar.
So anyways, we are going to dive deeper into the world of boxed wines and the most common grocery store wines versus what might be a little bit better options over on the blog. So definitely check in the description box below. And please give a warm welcome to Josh, who has joined us for the first time on the Homestead Challenge.
Yeah.
This is the first time?
Yep, so usually I'm behind the camera, not in front of it. So this is my first time appearing on the show.
I think he did pretty well.
Yeah.
So definitely leave a comment below and let Josh know that he did a great job. And if you are new here, definitely like, comment, and subscribe to join us in this Homestead Challenge. We do a new challenge every single week, always trying to become better, trying to become more sustainable, healthier, and more frugal. Which, I don't know if we succeeded at all of those here, but we'll see.
I'd say, if nothing else, healthier options and some good wines.
Well, thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Bye.